Do you find yourself wondering whether or not you should be a writer? These 2 exercises are for you. This is Writing Weekend. Writing is a practice met daily, either on the page or off. These 2 exercises will help you find balance in that practice. I'm going to write with you. 2 minutes on the timer. Let's go. Should I be a writer? If we find ourselves in a place where we are unable to make a decision, it often means that we're either stuck in the past or we're stuck in the future. That's why mindset work is so important. If it's the first time that you've come to my channel, that's what this channel is all about. So do subscribe. I'm here every Saturday to help you shift what's going on up here so that you can be the writer that you deserve. So this week, that ultimate question that I get asked so often, should I be a writer? So first of all, I want to do an exercise that helps us get really clear about how the past is keeping us stuck. And then we're going to step into the future and we're going to do an exercise there so that by the end, you're going to be really clear about what the answer to the question, should I be a writer, is. And it's so important that you get to a place where you can answer that question yourself. Okay, let's dive in. So the first exercise where we start to really take a look at the past. If we're in this place of wondering whether we should, whether we shouldn't, and we're not able to decide, it's often because we're looking at things that have happened in the past, maybe failures, maybe times where we weren't able to please other people or where we don't really know ourselves well enough. And if we're stuck in the past, we're not going to be able to move on. So let's start to unpick that with this first exercise. So, thinking of the question, should I be a writer? I want you to think about, by wondering whether you should, in what way are you stuck in the past? So what failures and past events and situations are you focusing on that keeps this question coming up again and again? Okay, so what failures and past events are you focusing on that keeps this question, should I be a writer, coming up again and again? 2 minutes, off you go. Okay. So there we go, that first exercise that really will help you see where your mind is stuck in the past. So this is a really important aspect of mindset work. And it comes up so much with writers where they're looking almost at the pros and the cons. So for me, it was really clear. I feel really committed to my writing, but there are moments when I feel doubt, and I know why. And so this exercise, it didn't necessarily show me anything that I didn't know, but it's really nice to share with you because I think you'll appreciate this. So I put here, if I'm looking at the past, I'm looking at the fact that even though there were 3 agents interested in my first novel, it was then subsequently turned down by 16 publishers. So when I'm in that place of should I or shouldn't I, my brain is essentially saying, well, yeah, you're good enough to get 3 agents interested in you, but you're not good enough to get a publisher interested in you. So therefore, I'm not really sure if I should, because you're not good enough to go all the way. So here's where mindset work is really important, because the brain is fixating on something that's happened in the past, and it's assuming that all is going to continue to happen is this cycle playing out over and over. Mindset work really begins to open up the brain so that we begin to consider a different situation. And therefore, when we start to imagine a different conclusion, that should or shouldn't I becomes a much easier question to answer. So here's where we start to step into the future, and we start to think the future is not set. It's only the past. I can keep reliving the past, or I can choose to believe that things will turn out differently. So drop a comment below if that makes sense to you. I'm happy to clarify that even more. I'm certainly happy to give you a personal response to your own predicament of the should I, shouldn't I, where are you stuck in your past? So for now, let's move into the second part of the exercise, which is where we start to look at the future. So there are many ways that I might choose to work with a client on this if they're in that place of should I or shouldn't I. But I've chosen this specific exercise today to look at the cost of not being a writer, because sometimes this can really help. If you're stuck in the should I or shouldn't I, we look at what's the cost of not being a writer. So the second exercise is, I want you to imagine that everything that lies ahead is your ultimate dream, okay? So that this dream of being a writer, the future offers you that ultimate dream of being exactly the writer that you want to be. So that is the future. So I want you to write for 2 minutes, what's the cost of not committing to this future? So here's a future where you are the writer that you deserve to be. What's the cost of not committing to that future? 2 minutes, off you go. Okay. So here we go, this second exercise, it's really, really powerful one for the mind, where we offer a beautiful future and we say to the mind, okay, what if you never get a chance to experience that future? So what I wrote about here was the cost of essentially not committing to being a writer means that I'm only ever going to continue to live out that pretty boring story of my past, where I go around and I say to people, oh yeah, 3 agents wanted to represent me, but 16 publishers turned me down. That story does not have a great ending. So the cost of not committing to being a writer means that I don't get to change the ending of that story. I get to live as if that is the only ending that I deserve. So when we step into that place of imagining essentially the different future that we could offer ourselves, then we realize that it is a different future and it's a better future. So that's when we start to open up our mind into thinking, oh my God, actually, if I start believing in myself, then I realize that I can be a writer, that I realize that I can get published. And that's going to affect other areas of your life as well. Because if you start believing in yourself in one area, chances are, and I can pretty much guarantee this, that it's going to start to ripple effect into other areas of your life as well. That's why successful people just become more and more successful, because their belief grows. So there we go, 2 exercises, and my approach to writing is all about working with the mind, shifting perspectives, looking at better futures, offering ourselves that chance to be the writer that we deserve to be. It's all about unleashing your creativity, which is exactly what my monthly masterclass focuses on. So here you get to have a whole hour of really deep mindset work. I run a webinar online that you can tune into from the comfort of your own home. I'm going to drop details all about that in the little bit of text below. So you'll get a link and then you can register for free. And I will be here next Saturday as well. So whether it's the masterclass, whether you're going to subscribe and tune into my videos on a regular basis, either way, I really look forward to continuing our work together. See you next time.